Hey guys, welcome back to the Sal Pitera channel, and this is another video on the Sal Pitera Carnival Kitchen, where we're going to bring you, in combination with Carnival Cruise Line, some of the recipes that you find in the main dining room on board a Carnival ship. Today, my wife Debbie and Diane are going to bring to you eggplant parmesan that is one of the favorites in the dining room. Now remember, we are not professional cooks here. As a matter of fact, far from it. The majority of our food comes from eating out or on board a cruise ship. So this should be fun, a nice easy recipe that you can make from home, and she's going to be right back to tell you how to make eggplant parmesan right after this.
Hi guys, I'm Debbie.
I'm Diane.
And we are here today. We are going to attempt to make Carnival's version of eggplant parmesan. Now, this could get pretty interesting because not only have I never made this dish, I've never even tried it.
I've tried it and I love it.
Now, we're going to start out by telling you guys some ingredients. And Diane will go ahead and tell you those ingredients and I will point them out. But before we do that, the amounts that she's going to read to you is per each item. So if you use more than one eggplant, you will want to double the recipe, which is what we will be doing tonight.
Okay, the ingredients are eggplant, 1 large, fresh mozzarella.
Uh-oh, it's going to roll away on us. And we can explain why we have diced fresh mozzarella as the regular as we get on into the recipe.
Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan. Fresh Parmesan.
4 ounces. Fresh thyme chopped, 2 ounces.
Now we haven't chopped it yet because that's actually part of the recipe and we're going to do that with you guys.
Freshly ground black pepper, 2 ounces. And extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 cup.
Now, we actually have a special extra virgin olive oil that we use. It's actually garlic infused extra virgin olive oil, and I'm going to give a shout out actually. This actually comes from the Gervasi Vineyards, which is based out of Canton, Ohio, and they are a very upscale vineyard, and this stuff is fantastic. So that is what we are going to use, but if you can't find something like that, or if you don't have anything like that, you can just use regular extra virgin olive oil. Okay, go ahead.
All right, then we have tomato sauce, whole peeled tomatoes, 10 ounces.
Now these are the ingredients to make the tomato sauce. We don't actually have tomato sauce yet. Now these are the tomatoes. It calls for whole peeled tomatoes. They suggest a specific brand, but again, we're not local to where they are, so we couldn't find that brand, so we just went with the store brand, which I'm sure should be fine.
Then we have crushed red chili, 1 teaspoon.
Actually, that's the one item we don't have. We decided to skip that one because we have some people with some sensitive stomachs and we didn't want to go the spicy route.
Good idea. And we have garlic clove, 3 each.
And I have garlic right here.
Then for the garnish, we have chopped Italian parsley.
That would be this one.
2 ounces.
That's a little more than 2 ounces, I'm guessing.
Fried Basil Fresh, few leaves.
Now these are not fried. That's something we're gonna have to try to figure out.
Cherry tomatoes, half, 4 each.
Again, these we will cut once we get to that stage.
And shaved Parmesan, 2 ounces.
Which we went back to.
And then we go to the instructions, I'm sorry.
Okay, so now that we have everything here, we need to go ahead and start getting ready and let's start cooking. Okay?
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, what is our first step, Diane?
All right.
Well, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you for 1 second. Now, we did pre-read the instructions and it does tell you to preheat the oven, but it doesn't tell you to do that till the very end of the recipe. So, excuse me, before we start, what are we supposed to preheat the oven to?
320 degrees.
Excuse me. Now we did go ahead and turn the oven on to 320. So if you guys are gonna go ahead and cook along with this, then you guys can go ahead and do that now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right, you need to slice the eggplants into 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick rounds.
Okay, so what we will do is we will take our eggplant, excuse me for a second. Now keep in mind, folks, I have never done this. Okay, so it says about 1/4 inch. So maybe 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. About like that, you think?
That looks pretty good.
Now we'll just cut away. Now, while I'm cutting, excuse me, why don't you tell them what the next step is so we can go ahead and prepare for that one?
All right, after you cut the eggplant in 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick rounds, you sprinkle both sides of the eggplant rounds lightly with salt. Then you have to let the eggplant rounds sit and release moisture for 2 hours.
Now, as you heard Diane say, once we have cut these, we're supposed to let them set out, salt them on both sides, and in fact, I actually didn't grab salt, so let me grab that 1 second real quick. I do apologize about that. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your salt and just lightly salt it, and then flip it, and then salt it again. Now, because this has a long process to it and it is a 2-hour wait, now I did go ahead and do this step in advance. So we already have some of these that have already been cut, salted, and they've already been cured for the 2 hours. So I am gonna set these off to the side, excuse me. And can you throw that little end piece there away, please? Now, these are what our eggplants look like that have sat out for 2 hours, lightly salted on both sides. So what is our next step?
Okay, after 2 hours, you marinate with chopped thyme.
Okay, so let's move this off to the side because now we actually have to start chopping things. Now, we decided to buy the little plant of thyme because it was just the same price as the actual thyme that was in the produce section, and this just looked so much healthier. Now I have to chop this. I'm thinking maybe we don't want that root. I'm not real sure on that. So I am not very good at this, and if my son sees this, he'll probably laugh at me and say, "Mom, what on earth are you doing?" So we're gonna chop this and hope for the best.
I think if she doesn't cut a finger off, she's doing well.
Now, I'm not sure that it says how finely it's supposed to be chopped, so I'm just gonna kinda go to town on it and we'll go from there. Again, like I said, I have never made this. I've never made anything like it. I think in my recipe repertoire, I have like 3 things. Like my husband said, we usually go out to eat. Okay, so now that we have this done, let's go ahead and put these eggplants in here where we can actually marinate them. Well, maybe we should, I don't know, you think we should put these in here first or put the marinade in first and then maybe dip them in and flip them and then put them?
I would put the marinade in first, that way it'll cover both sides of the eggplant.
See, this is a learning curve for all of us. I'm gonna give that to you and then you can add them in once it's time.
Okay.
So maybe we can make some room up here for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our thyme in.
Oh, sorry. I'm not much of a cook either.
Okay, now it says 2 ounces. We're kind of estimating because I've never made this, and when we actually measured out 2 ounces, it seemed like an excessive amount. So, you know, again, it's kind of, they say that the best chefs improvise, so we're gonna try that.
We must be really good chefs then.
Okay, now that we have the thyme chopped and in our marinade bowl, what do we do next?
Then we put in our tomato sauce.
No, we have to get our marinade. So if we,
That's your
no, we have to mix our marinade, sprinkle sides. Okay, Release moisture for 2 hours. Okay, we need chopped thyme, garlic, and olive oil.
Oh yes,
okay,
I forgot
so we need to add garlic, our garlic, which we do already have chopped up. That one was a little bit easier for us. I think that's good.
Whew, that is strong.
Oh, it smells fantastic. Now, olive oil.
Olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil. Now again, this is from Gervasi Vineyards, and it does have a slight garlic infusion to it. And this calls for a 1/4 cup, I believe, doesn't it?
Yes, 1/4 cup.
Sorry, it sounds like it's, I don't know what it sounds like, but it doesn't sound very nice. All right, so we're gonna stop this for a minute. And let's try stirring this up and see what we come up with. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna grab our eggplants. And for some reason, I have been referring to these things as avocados all day. So I don't know why they don't look anything like each other, but hey, you know. All right, so we are going to start marinating these. And because we're gonna actually make 4 of these, and it says to layer them in 3s. So we're gonna count out 12 and do this and then let them sit while we start our sauce. So that's 1.
You want the smaller ones or the larger ones?
I don't know, we'll just keep them about the same size.
All right.
This is an improvisation. But I'll tell you what, it's nice and messy.
It smells very good.
We need 6 more.
I don't know if you have enough marinade there.
Oh, I'm sure we got enough. If not, we'll just add some more olive oil and extra virgin olive oil and let them soak. So how many we had? I kind of lost count.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Does that count the one in the hands?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2.
She doesn't believe
This is
me.
1 more, so we need 3 more after this. I'm a silly person. I guess I just double check everything. If it's any consolation, I double check and triple check everything of my own all the time. Which is probably good because I'd probably forget my head if it wasn't attached half the time. All right. Let's add a little bit more extra virgin olive oil in, but can you do that? I'm kind of
Sure.
a little bit covered in oil.
Yeah, I can just see the bottle go flying across the floor.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, I think that's good. So what are we at? That's 1, 2, 3. We need 2 more pieces. Okay. So for this purpose, like I said, we're actually making 4 dishes of this, and they're individual dishes. So now that these are starting to marinate, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab that oil one last time and just kind of sprinkle it on top so it can get down in there all over the different ones. And while I wash my hands, I'll leave Diane to show you what she's doing and talk.
I am sprinkling it all over all the eggplants. That's what she told me to do. There we go. And next we're going to make the tomato sauce.
Okay. I am back. Sorry about that, guys. I was
She's an oily person.
very, very messy on that one. Let me just clean up a little bit here. Even though I don't cook very often, I don't really like cooking in a messy spot. So that's one good thing, I guess.
We're going to prepare the tomato sauce, and we have to heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a 4-quart saucepan.
Okay, so before we do that, we need to... Okay, we're gonna start making our sauce now. In order to do that, Diane, what is it we're gonna do?
We're going to heat 1 tablespoon olive oil in a 4-quart saucepan on medium heat.
1 tablespoon, you said?
Yes.
Maybe a little bit more. Again, we're estimating on this one. And you said medium heat, right?
Medium heat.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and turn the stove on medium heat. Okay, and then what do we do?
Then we add the minced garlic and gently cook for 1 minute or until fragrant.
Okay, so while I am doing this, and I'm going to cook this for 1 minute, and we're really going to start getting some really good smells in here, Diana's going to go ahead and start opening up the cans of tomatoes so we can get that going for you. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so here goes the garlic. And if you have a timer on your microwave or even one just next to you, you can use that so you have an idea of how long a minute is if you don't want to, or you can sit there and do the old-fashioned row your boat. I think it's 3 times or something like that. I'm not 100% on that one. You'd have to look that one up. Boy, I'll tell you what, it hasn't even cooked 15 seconds and I already smell garlic and it smells really good. Okay, so why don't we bring the tomatoes over and then we will wait until this is ready. Now, I should put, that is our 1 minute timer, but I think it just smells the same as it did before when I first put it in, so I'm gonna let it go a little longer. This is kind of a trial and error kind of thing. Also, one thing that I should explain is when you're cooking, you should never have a handle hanging off the edge. You have little ones, or if it gets knocked over, I'm standing here and I'm not walking away, and unfortunately I have to hold it left-handed. So other than that, just be very careful on that one. I don't want anybody to get hurt on that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add our tomatoes with their juices. Now I just want to be careful so they don't splatter up or anything here. And again, normally this would be 1 can that you're going to use, but because we are making a double batch of this and we did use 2 eggplants, we are making a little extra of the sauce. Now, once we added that into our garlic, we're supposed to crush these tomatoes, am I right?
That's right.
Okay. This might be a little bit tricky. I might need help with this one. I'm trying to crush them and they're rolling on me. I wonder, I wonder if rather than using one of these, we have I guess, I don't know if it's a potato masher or what it's called, but I wonder if that would work better, you think?
Well, it just says to break up the tomatoes. It doesn't say to mash them.
Just to break them up, okay.
Yeah, just break them
well,
up.
I guess we'll just sit here and break them up.
Every island has its own personality, its own flavor. But the place I like best of all, and I'm sure you will too, is right on board my ship, the Superliner Celebration. If they could see you now, out on a fun-ship cruise, eating fancy food and doing what you choose, I'd like your friends back home to get a good look at the first-rate Carnival cruise that you took. All I can say is, wow, hey, look at where you are. Tonight you're living, pow, just like a movie star. What a fun ship, holy cow. They'd never believe it if your friends could see you now. Out on a fun ship cruise, eating fancy food and doing what you choose. I'd like your friends back home to get a good look at the first-rate Carnival cruise that you took. All I can say is, wow, hey, look at where you are. Tonight you're living, pow, just like a movie star. What a fun ship, holy cow. They'd never believe it if your friends could see you now. If they could see you now, they'd see you're having fun, taking in the sights and playing in the sun. They won't believe that you are such a good sport, buying all those gifts in a tropical port. All I can say is, wow, I'm having such a ball. This cruise is living, pow, don't wanna leave at all. What a fun ship, holy cow. They'd never believe it if your friends could see you now.
Carnival can take you where the fun is on a 3, 4, or 7-day cruise vacation to the Bahamas, Caribbean, or Mexican Riviera. Once you've sailed aboard a fun ship, you'll know why Carnival's the most popular cruise line in the world.
Okay, now that our tomatoes are diced up, what do we do next?
You bring it to a simmer and then lower the heat to maintain.
Okay, do we have to add anything else in it while we're doing that?
Yes, you should add some salt and pepper to taste.
Okay, so we're gonna add some salt and pepper. And again, this is just an eyeball kind of thing, and you can always add, or, well, you obviously can't take it away, but you can always add to it if it's not enough or whatever. And then after we added the salt and pepper, I believe we have to let it simmer once it starts to come to a simmer. We have to leave it there for 15 minutes, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, well, while this is simmering, we're actually going to take a quick break, and I have some really exciting news coming back for you, so we will be right back.
Hey guys, join us on March 5th, 2022 as we sail on the Carnival Glory. This group cruise will celebrate Carnival's 50th anniversary celebration. 8-day cruise will be from New Orleans to Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and even Montego Bay, Jamaica. Private events with free drinks, meet and greets, free ship tours, gifts, and a whole lot more on this group event. And the coolest part, this is Carnival's 50th anniversary, and along the way, lots of ships are going to meet up at sea for a grand celebration. Prices as low as $941 for an inside cabin, with a great payment program that starts with only $100 down. Now you need to reserve your cabin quick because space is limited. Call me now at 330-968-4300.
We're back, and boy, does that look like a lot of fun. I cannot wait to go on that sailing.
Yes,
what do you think?
It sure does.
Okay, now back to our, what is it called?
Eggplant
Thank you,
Parmigiana.
eggplant. Again, for some reason, avocados keep popping into my head. Anyway, our sauce is marinating right now as we speak. Simmering. Yes, I'm sorry. Our eggplants are marinating.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and start the next step while that is simmering, and we'll just keep an eye on it and stir it in between.
All right, you need to slice some fresh mozzarella.
Okay. So here's our fresh mozzarella. Now I know you can buy it pre-sliced, but it's sliced pretty thick if you do that. So we got one that's not done like that already. And it asks for so much cheese, but it does tell you that you'd also want some diced as well, like this. So if you don't want to buy the diced in addition to that, you can just save some of this and dice it that way.
You're going to need a slice for every piece of zucchini that you, eggplant that you have.
I don't think either one of us know what we're making. Are we making zucchini? Are we making avocados? Are we making eggplant parmesan? Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. Well, it kind of turned green like in the pot, so.
I think that might be some of the spices and the olive oil that we did use too.
Probably, but it looks very good.
I'll tell you what, the smells in here are fantastic. You can really smell the garlic coming out. What do we have? That's 1, 2,
5.
Okay, now.
6.
Now I'm counting them as 1 and 2 because each one of these, we have 12 slices that we're using, so we have to have 1 cheese slice for each one, but we'll come to that. Okay, so we have, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See that? I can count.
And this is also when you're supposed to chop the mozzarella for the garnish, which they already have done here.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, I'm gonna cut one more because that first one was a little bit smaller. Okay, now I'm gonna just check in on our sauce and see how we're doing with that. As you can see, it's simmering, and it really does look quite nicely. Okay, now before we actually start by putting our sauce in our casserole dish, I believe we have to fry up our eggplant, right?
Yes, we have to sear it in heat olive oil in a pan over medium heat and sear the eggplant with red crushed pepper.
Okay, now again, we decided that we were gonna skip the red crushed pepper because we didn't want that extra spice, so we're gonna go ahead and sear it in the marinade the way that we have.
We also need crushed garlic.
Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and start by searing our eggplant. Now, once I sear them, I will put them on a spatula and have them given to Diane so she can move them off to the side until we're ready to go ahead and actually put our dish together. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. As you can see, we switched sides so I could sear those, and this side of the stove is a little bit warmer. That sauce looks really, really good. Oh, that's right, we do have to put our garlic in there. And again, we are supposed to put a little bit of garlic in here with the searing. All right, now, I'm not sure how long it takes to sear on each side, so we're gonna kind of play it by ear.
You sear them to a golden brown.
So we're gonna sear these until they turn to a light golden brown. Now that our eggplants have been seared and our sauce is simmered, we are going to go ahead and start the assembly process before it goes in the oven. So we're going to start with our casserole dish, and what are we doing now?
We're going to put a spoon of the sauce on the bottom of the pan.
Do we want to put a little bit more in there? Because we actually have extra sauce.
Oh, we can.
That way it's nice. Okay. Now that I'm just going to spread it out a little bit so you can see, so it's kind of even across. Okay, what do we do now?
Now we'll put a layer of the eggplant in the bottom of the pan.
Okay.
Very carefully so you don't get burned.
Whoop! We can actually move those over a little bit more because we're going to do 4 stacks here. Okay. Well, wait, that's it. That's what we're doing 4, right?
Oh, okay.
So what's our next step after we put the 4 down?
All right, and then you arrange a layer in the sequence of eggplant and tomato sauce, Parmesan cheese, sliced mozzarella.
Okay, slow down. So we have the sauce, then we put eggplant, now we put sauce again.
Yes, sauce again.
Okay. What do we, then after the sauce, then we put the fresh mozzarella slice?
No, then we put Parmesan cheese.
Oh, Parmesan cheese, you can't forget the Parmesan cheese. Okay, now we're just sprinkling this on.
Just sprinkle the Parmesan cheese.
Wow, this looks really good. If this tastes half as good as it looks, I will be very excited. Okay, so now we have this on there. Now what do we do?
Sliced mozzarella.
Okay, so we're going to take our thin sliced mozzarella that we sliced earlier, 1 per.
Yes, you're going to repeat this process 2 times.
2 more times. Okay,
Yes.
What was the process? So it was sauce.
No, we have to put the eggplant.
Well, sauce went down on the bowl first, right?
Yeah, but that was just, oh yeah, go ahead, put, I don't know.
You can't ever go wrong with extra sauce. So we're gonna go ahead and put more sauce down. You can kind of interpret how you choose, and then we're gonna go ahead and
another eggplant.
over there, don't worry.
I can get a hold of it here.
Okay.
And
Okay, flip 1 more.
whoop.
Over here.
Now's when you're supposed to put the tomato sauce on.
Okay, so now, yeah, but it did it both times. So you can do it more or less. I mean, we have plenty of tomato sauce, so. Okay, now we're gonna put tomato sauce on, and we're making sure we have it on every piece here. That way it's gonna be nice and yummy, hopefully. Okay, then we go to the Shaved,
sliced mozzarella,
the shaved Parmesan first, no?
tomato sauce, Parmesan cheese, yes.
Right, okay.
Then the sliced mozzarella.
Okay, now we have one more layer because it said to repeat that twice, I believe, right?
Yes, it did.
Let's go ahead. I will start putting the cheese on and you can start sliding those in there.
I thought you wanted more sauce.
Oh yeah, I guess we could put more sauce on first, huh?
This is falling apart. You have to be very careful when you pick up the eggplant because it falls apart very easily.
Okay.
And you put the eggplant.
Let me get this in there. I don't want to burn either one of us here.
There we go.
I don't know about you, but as big as these are, even though they're only stacked 3 high, that looks like a lot of food. Now it's sauce again, right?
Tomato sauce.
Maybe get a little bit on that end.
Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan again.
Yes.
Okay. And then we go back to the fresh mozzarella, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now this should be our last layer. So what do we do after we finish this? Do
Well,
we put...
if you want to put a little more sauce on, that's up to you.
Okay.
But then we top it with chopped mozzarella.
The diced mozzarella. Well, that's for when we plate it, isn't it though? Doesn't this
No,
go
it
in the
says-
oven like this?
It says Parmesan cheese, sliced mozzarella, and topped with fresh chopped mozzarella.
All right, well we can put a couple on there now and then we can put a couple on during the plating process as well.
Then you bake it until the cheese has turned golden brown, approximately 15 minutes.
Okay, so what we will do is we will
I'd
go
put
ahead.
some sauce down inside there,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think I'm going to put it down in and that way it'll cook around it as well. That way if anybody wants extra when the time comes, they have it. So we're just gonna pour the extra sauce down in the pan. That way it's there. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven and wait for the cheese to turn to a light golden brown. And it's about 15 minutes, right?
That's what they said, yes.
All right. Can you open the stove for me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna let that cook for about 15 minutes. We'll keep an eye on it and we will be right back and let you know how it turned out.
Hey guys, welcome back. The eggplant is out of the oven.
It looks beautiful.
It really looks fantastic. But the proof is in the pudding. Let's see how you and Diane did.
Well, here goes nothing. Now remember, I've never had this before and I've never made this before.
It smells fantastic.
Should I let you be the guinea pig?
Sure.
I'm not sure I got any
Yeah,
on
you didn't get any
it.
of the eggplant.
There's a little bit on there. There we go. Ready?
Yep. I thought you were gonna let me be the guinea pig. Good?
Very good. I got in there and realized I did all the work, so I had to have the guinea pig.
That is every bit as good as you get on the ship.
And it was pretty easy to do considering we didn't know what we were doing.
So that is the eggplant parmesan, or as they seem to think, squash, mashed potatoes. I don't know what else you guys called it. But that is the eggplant parmesan that you'll find in the main dining room on board a Carnival cruise ship. Again, thanks to Carnival Cruise Lines for giving us these recipes and asking us to do these videos during this time where everybody has to stay at home and off the cruise ship. But I promise it will be opening back up soon, and we'll see you guys on your next Carnival cruise.